Crypto Kids, welcome back to a live stream, which I've not done here on this channel for a long time. As you guys know, I do a daily live stream over on the Moonshow channel, but I thought it would be necessary given the fact that Bitcoin is currently writing history in an infamous way by declining for 13 consecutive candles over on the 1 hourly time frame. So you can see here, you have 1, 2, 3. Well, no, these don't count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 consecutive candles where Bitcoin went to the downside. And, I checked over on Grok and I asked it, when did Bitcoin see a 13 consecutive candle decline over on the 1 hourly time frame before? And he couldn't give me an answer. So I think this is a first in a very long time that Bitcoin has done such thing. And the reason is because of the influence of geopolitical tensions, which is quite interesting because, we did kind of lose correlation between the escalation of geopolitical tensions between the price of Bitcoin and the events themselves. However, it appears that that correlation is back and it's back very, very strong. So just as a recap, if you didn't watch the previous 2 videos that I made on the Crypto Kid channel and the Moonshow live stream that I made 2 hours ago, then we can go ahead and look into the current situation and talk and discuss more about what is happening, give you a recap and how much more price is going to fall and what have I done to take action based off of the current prices. So number 1, what took place? At exactly 2:30 a.m., this morning, Dubai time, President Trump posts the following. So he says, let's unlock it and let's have a look. So he says, Iran should have signed the deal I told them to sign. So on and so forth. The most important phrase in this tweet that he then pinned over on Truth Social was everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran, which you saw hundreds of thousands of cars trying to leave in the past 24 hours because of what President Trump said. Why is this significant? Why does it hurt Bitcoin? Well, it hurts Bitcoin because this Truth Social post essentially means that America is going to become involved with the war. And markets don't like that. So after this tweet, Bitcoin fell immediately on the post by 1.05%. Then you had Trump leaving the G7 summits and heading back to the White House from Canada to attend to the current situation. And they held a press conference. So that led the price to capitulate down to 106.7. There was a little bit hope at this point that there could be some sort of a peace deal, but then immediately after Trump said he's not in the mood to negotiate with Iran and that there is no way, shape, or form that peace talks can emerge with Iran. So after the market heard that, following the formation of the head and shoulders pattern, Bitcoin broke down, didn't even bother testing the resistance of the ascending triangle, came down, tried to find support here, broke right through it, and it is now doing the scenario that I fear the most, where we have fake outs to both sides and we end up capitulating to the downside. So that is a quick brief on what has happened. Breaking news within the past 30 minutes or so that led to a further capitulation right here are the following. So breaking news, President Trump says that they have now complete control over the skies of Iran. Again, further suggesting that there could be America's involvement. Then you have JD Vance saying the following: Trump may decide to act further to end Iranian enrichment. And you have Israeli officials now saying that President Netanyahu believes the US will likely enter the war in the upcoming few days. And you can see that now Trump is seriously considering the war on Iran and launching a strike against its nuclear facilities per Axios. There is a national security team meeting currently, and it's been undergoing for the past 14 minutes. And their primary point of discussion is how they will take action to the ongoing conflict. But it's not so promising in the sense that they will stay away. And because this is just a Bitcoin and cryptocurrency channel, them staying away obviously will have a positive impact on the price of Bitcoin, which is the only thing that we will discuss in this stream and on this channel. President Trump mentioned that they know exactly where the supreme leader is, so on and so forth. So there are clear threats being created. I don't know if this is just a strategy or if they will actually go through with this. There is no way of knowing. President Trump is known to be unbelievably unpredictable. So we cannot speculate on geopolitics and what actions, what people will take. The only thing that we can look at is the technical analysis. The technical analysis shows a couple of different things. Number one, this chart I showed on the Moonshow channel. I don't think I spoke about this chart on the Crypto Kid channel. So this chart right here is another form of drawing of the pennant that I discussed on yesterday's video. So this formation right over here is another bullish pennant, but you take the support from back in April the 27th of this year. So when you look at that and you combine the 50 period SMA, you do have a lot of support forming on the price action right now. That is why over on the Moonshow channel, we decided to enter into a new long position. So if I can find it, I will show you here on the Moonshow. So we entered into a brand new Bitcoin position right there. So long right there at 104.4 because of the amount of support that we are facing from the 50 SMA and from the bullish pennant support. So I prematurely entered it primarily because I wanted to demonstrate how you could do it if you wanted to do it over on the live stream, but now would be the good time to essentially enter because you're finding support from both of these things. So that's number one. That is just the DCA entry into a Bitcoin long with a liquidation in the low 90 region. So I'm not concerned about that position. It is just a DCA. I think it is a good time to buy, especially after 12 consecutive red candles to the downside, which Bitcoin in its near and midterm history, I don't recall anything as such happening before. Even Grok is confused of this price action. So I entered one DCA long position, but a thing that I mentioned over on the Crypto Kid Telegram channel is the probability that we come down to $101,650 because that is going to be the support of this bullish pennant. So there's two. There's this one, and then there is a more conservative variation where the support line is actually reliant on 101.650. So at both of these levels, I put limit long positions. During the stream, one of them triggered, which is the long position for this one. But if this line of support fails and America does decide to go into war, God forbid, then Bitcoin can come down to 101.650. Can it come lower? It is impossible to say, but we are very well DCA'd into Bitcoin long positions. You know, we've been opening long positions since $77,000 over on weeks, and our average entry is around $94,000 to $95,000. So we're positioned incredibly well. So there's nothing to fear in that side. But there is absolutely no way to know how markets will react if Bitcoin does, or if you know we do see more American involvement in geopolitical tensions. I'm just looking for breaking news, and I'm going to get to your comments very shortly. The US announces they are moving more fighter jets to the Middle East and extending the deployment of air assets already in the region. So this could be one, just to make a statement and do a bluff, or it could mean actual action, which is impossible to know. And I will not comment on. But apart from that, we don't have... we just have more ballistics entering Israel from Iran, sadly. But apart from that, there appears to be no other breaking news. So these things, I mean, geopolitical tensions, it's just impossible to predict, right? At this point, we can clearly see from this chart that fundamental analysis at this point in time is trumping over any technicals. So at this, I mean, the only thing we can do is just DCA, reduce risk, which I did, and I posted over on Twitter. I posted over on Telegram. We spoke about it on the Moonshow. The only thing that we can do here is de-risk. So in my personal portfolio, I de-risked my longs that had a lot of leverage. In my personal trading portfolio, I reduced exposure into some altcoins and shifted dominance into stables and mostly Bitcoin. So that's the only thing we can do. In times are uncertain, such as now, I think this is the most uncertain it can become, and it's the most fearful it can become. What we can do is reduce risk. And if we have capital fresh on the side, with our mid to long-term mindset and macro view on Bitcoin, all we can do is accumulate. We can't do anything else. That's the sad reality. You can't really do much because you can't predict exactly what will happen in situations like this. So the only thing to do is to accumulate into assets that you have long-term belief in. For example, Ondo, I think, is at a massive discount. I don't know if you saw the breaking news related to Ondo Finance. So today we're announcing the Global Markets Alliance. a historic alliance of leading wallets, exchanges, and custodians to bring capital markets on chain. So imagine you're going to be able to trade stocks on chain thanks to Ondo. Like, this is unbelievably bullish, unbelievably bullish. Okay. So that's why I'm accumulating as many of the altcoins as I can. Yes, de-risking on some of them, but Ondo Finance, Solana, these are things that I'm buying when I have the opportunity to. So I don't see any reason to be getting super concerned. You know, this 1 hourly time frame, this massive colossal dump appears to be very concerning when you zoom into the 1 hourly time frame, and it is, right? It is. It can take us into the 102. It can take us into the 101 range. You know, come to the target of the ascending triangle. But when you zoom out, when you go to the macro, it looks like nothing, and it is. It's really nothing major. It's just a regular daily candle move. It's nothing to be super concerned about, and my bias is still in the bullish direction. But guys, I mean, the reason why I'm doing so much content today is because I feel, you know, I feel the obligation to give you as much change as, you know, as much of the changes that go through my personal trading portfolio and my personal, you know, portfolio as I do make changes to them. Specifically today, because of geopolitical tensions, I have the urge to make as much updates here on the channels so that you are aware as soon as I make those updates on my personal portfolio. And this is trading, you know, things change. And my job here is to give you the information as soon as things start to change. Alejandro says, make me laugh, this kid. Haha, bye again. So the only reason why I'm addressing this hate comment, I usually don't, is because people, I don't know, I think, see, trading is difficult. Trading is not hard. And it took me many years to get to the point that I am at now in terms of being able to time the markets when it is a good time to buy and when it is roughly a good time to sell. It takes a lot of expertise to be able to get that correct. So I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Nobody can do it 100%, but you can identify the areas of which it is a good time to be buying and when it is potentially a good time to be selling. That is why, and that is how we were able to enter into long positions for Bitcoin at 77,000, 82,000, 83,000, 84,000, 85,000, 87,500. You know, that's how we become profitable, and we are profitable. So I think the issue is people watch only the most recent videos, but they don't watch the previous videos. So they jump into positions either by just looking at titles or just looking at thumbnails, and they have negative connotations to what I do. But the reality is, if you watch the full content, if you are watching daily, because markets change daily, then technically there's no way that you could have not been profitable over at least the past 2 to 3 months. So, you know, I don't usually speak up on hate comments because I know that it's just hate comments. But, you know, it's just I want to address this because what will help you take the most out of my analysis is by watching the full videos that I post, watching the Moonshow live streams, joining to the Telegram community, watching my tweets, because I give a lot of different analysis over on a lot of different social media channels. But if you get the full compilation, then that will be the most beneficial to you. And in the past 2-3 months, there is no way that you could be in a negative loss. So yeah, just looking at Bitcoin, I'm going to check breaking news in a second, but if you have any other questions, let me know in the chat and I will try and get to them right now. So give me a second while I check if there is any breaking news or any breaking developments with what is going on in the world. Iran warns all Israelis to evacuate Tel Aviv and Haifa immediately. That's something that's new. Trump is calling for an unconditional surrender of Iran, which, I mean, yeah, tough to say. Apart from that, there isn't anything new. So let's check the comments. Thanks, Yusuf. Appreciate it. Awesome. Great to see. Thank you so much, Oscar. Appreciate it. I did actually start, well, not elementary school, but I started trading in middle school. Thank you, Rocky Racket. Appreciate it. Thank you, Queen. So, okay, altcoins are not totally decimated. So if we go to the daily time frame for altcoins, you can see it is a bit rough, 14%, 9%, but I wouldn't call this decimated. Obviously, yeah, it's not the prettiest. But, you know, things like Solana right now, not the prettiest of analysis, but you can see, you know, also head and shoulders pattern, also constant negative decline on the 1 hourly time frame. And I decided to de-risk a little bit from Solana. And actually, I said I would be buying between the 140 and 141 range again when Solana reaches that. And the reason I said this is because if we go back, you'll notice that Solana has also inverted, has head and shoulders, and the target is lying at the support line here at 140 to 141. So I will reaccumulate Solana. It's just that I'm waiting for a bit more of a dip here before I can jump fully back into Solana in my personal portfolio. But obviously over on weeks, we're still massively long on Solana. And I'm not expecting any sort of major decline there. I'm in fact very bullish on Solana, mid to long term. Apart from that, XRP, wow, yeah, XRP saw a large increase and then a large decline too. Not the prettiest, obviously, not the prettiest. Dogecoin is now breaking down from this bear flag. Not the best. So let's have a look here. Let's do, I've not done full detailed analysis on Doge, but we can take a look. We can definitely take a look. Look, you know, when you zoom out, not so concerning, but yes, bear flag, you're testing support on the, it should be the weekly time frame. Yeah, look at this weekly time frame, huge support. This is not a place that I would be selling Doge, and I was considering de-risking some of my Dogecoin because I am exposed to Dogecoin tremendously. So I did concern de-risking, but really, when you're, you know, I mean, we're not exactly testing back the support, but are we on auto scale? Let's make sure we're on auto scale. Let's do this. Yeah. Look, it's good support. We're close to good support. Yeah, I don't want to sell. I'm not a big fan of selling my Dogecoin now. Can we dip further? Always a probability, but I don't want to sell at support. I'm not a fan of selling at support. S&P 500 down 57 points today. Look, it's concerning. I'm getting a little bit concerned for the S&P. Why am I getting concerned for the S&P? I'm getting concerned for the S&P because of the following. Number one, we have an MRI. We have an MRI warning sign right here. MRI sell warning. Okay, MRI sell warning, meaning momentum is about to shift to the downside. Two, we're hitting resistance. Three, if this becomes a lower high, that means downtrend. And the only way that this becomes reality is if we have engagement of America in the war. Otherwise, I think we will follow liquidity. What's super interesting is treasuries are down today. We're seeing gold down today, dollar increasing in value, and cryptos are down. So it's a very interesting market, very interesting market. Tomorrow, we have the FOMC event, which I forgot to mention on the Moon Show. So in exactly 24 hours time, we're going to be streaming the FOMC event as we always do over in the Moon Show channel. So stay tuned there. 99.9% chance that there is no sort of change on the rates. However, the Q&A session between the Fed chair and the people will be likely what brings the volatility. Gunbroker says, all in tomorrow. Well, Gunbroker, I am already all in. And I'm all in through a range of different entries, which is diversified, and I'm overall majorly profitable. And all of that is public information here on this channel. So again, assuming this is a hate comment, addressing it because it's, you know, it's not nice to see. And I spoke about this on the Moon Show previously, and it's just that, you know, we do our best to bring you the best analysis and best price action. And, you know, when people don't fully watch the content and they don't get the full context of our content and decide to show hate, it's just not nice. You know, we're human at the end of the day, and bringing it up because it's you know, I'm not trying to ask for nice comments. It's just, you know, I'm trying to give the reality in case people see that comment and then think that is the case, because it's not the case. As we've been buying Bitcoin from 77 all the way to 90s, low 90s, and we're still profitable. You know, we even bought more Bitcoin at the Elon and Trump dump. Yeah, so still fine. We're doing still okay. Queen says orange. Yeah. Yep. Bitcoin it is. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Thank you. Is it a good time to buy Doge? Well, I have personal conviction in Doge over the long term. And like I showed you, I think there's some very good support on the auto linear chart. And it's I think it's a good time to buy personally, because I think that Dogecoin will be the leading meme, and we're hitting good support. So I'm pretty bullish. Bitcoin, are we breaking above 104? We can double check if we're breaking above 104. Yeah, we're back above 104, which is great. Let me do a quick check of breaking news. Give me a second, guys. And you know, it sucks because I have a lot of kidney pain today, which sucks. It's not the best. I'm trying to drink as much water as possible, but yeah, it is not the best today. And that's why I partially couldn't make a video today, because in the morning, when I did see I missed the Head and Shoulders because I was doing my visa stuff, and then I was in a bit of pain, so I couldn't check the chart. But I will make sure to check the chart in the mornings from now on, because it's important. I don't want to miss another beautiful Head and Shoulders like that. No, not much more breaking news. So everything seems to be the same. Thanks, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, 104 is holding. But if you go to the 1 hourly time frame, you can see that it's comparatively to the amount of dumps we've seen over the past 10 hours, it's nothing. But you know, you would I did say that you can't go down forever. It's just, you know, depends where we're going to find the bounce, and it looks like Bitcoin is finally bouncing now. Nothing major, but obviously much needed. Do I play games? Well, actually, my studio, one day I should do a studio tour. I operate fully off of Mac. So my entire work setup is based off of Mac. But when I actually first started to do YouTube videos when I was like 7 years old, and I was doing Minecraft videos. And huge gamer, Call of Duty, FIFA 21, Grand Theft Auto, what else? Warzone, Fortnite but I started playing Fortnite in 2017 when it first came out, so not recently. Rocket League, like I like to play. I'm a big gamer, and I started my first YouTube channel on gaming. And I actually found, when I found my old desktop PC in my parents' home, I found my old videos, my old Google account, and I have videos from like 5-6 years ago when I was doing Minecraft and Fortnite gaming. And maybe I can show you those videos at some point in the future. Medieval Empires, yeah, correct. But so I found that desktop, and I decided to bring it to the office. So what I have now is, to one screen I have Mac, and to the other screen I have Windows. And it's cool because sometimes I stay very late in the office, and I get bored, or we're waiting for like an event or something. Maybe tomorrow during the Fetcher Powell speech, maybe I could be playing some CS:GO on my left monitor while the stream is running on the right monitor. So I may do that. I plead guilty to that from now on. But yeah, so it's pretty cool. I mean, I've updated all the drivers. I have a RTX 2070 Super, and my CPU is old. It's like a Ryzen 5. I probably should upgrade that, but it does the job for now. So yeah, one monitor is Windows, when I'm going to do mostly gaming when I have time and I'm bored in the office. And then Mac is for work. That's the plan. Thanks, Roger. Appreciate it. Nice to see you again. Nice to see you again, Ali. No, I can't speak. Nice to see you, Ali. Nostalgia. I know, nostalgia. I know. Well, I do. Well, look, there's an issue with my account sometimes, which hopefully they're fixing. But I do love Medieval Empires. It's a great game. I love it. Okay, Bitcoin 104.1. Let me do a breaking news check once more. Let's have a look. Let's see if there is anything new. Breaking news. Oh my God! Wow. So Israeli intelligence estimates that Iran still has 1,800 more ballistic missiles. But apart from that data, nothing appears to be new. We don't have anything new from the meeting that's currently going on in the White House. Okay, CNN says refueling Israeli aircraft would be within the scope of US military intervention. So technically, they wouldn't be doing any physical damage themselves, but refueling, allowing Israeli aircraft to refuel, could be their way of intervention. Thanks, Yusuf. Well, I'm just a normal. I mean, I am 17 after all, right? I do play video games, and yeah, I like cars. I like playing basketball. Like I'm human. At the end of the day, I'm a 17-year-old boy. Yeah, people forget that sometimes. What is the current fear and greed index? It is a good question, my friend. Let's have a look at the fear and greed index. So fear and greed. Okay, fear and greed. Oh, for some reason I can't access it, but I saw it was at the 60 region. I think that is probably in the neutral region now. I don't think it's still at 65-ish. I would expect it to be lower today. Guys, if you can do me a favor and destroy the likes, let's see if we can reach 150 likes. That would be great. You know, I just don't hope. I really hope that this is not. That this isn't just like one green candle, just to say we had one green candle, and then we continue dumping. That would be very bad. But you guys know I'm expecting 101.6 as good support if we continue to fail. Do you have any sports cars like Carl? No. Well, the thing is, recently, I really wanted to buy a car, like a nice sports car, and I was looking at this car. Let me show you. So I was planning on buying this car. So it's the Ferrari F. What was it called? Was it the 435? No, it was the 430. So I wanted to get something vintage, and I wanted to get the F430. So this is what the car looks like. Let me see if I can find a nice picture. It's an old car, but I wanted to buy something that had a bit more of a vintagey feel to it. So this is what it would look like. So I was going to go for something like this. Or I wanted to go for a 911 GT3 RS. But the issue with this one is that it's my favorite car of all time, and I don't want to buy my favorite car of all time now. I think I want to build my dopamine a bit more until I buy this car. So yeah, these were the two cars that I was looking into buying, and I did make some tweets about them. However, in October, I had a go-karting accident. And when I had a go-karting accident, my neck just got completely destroyed, and I got like post-concussion syndrome for 4 months. So ever since then, I have post-traumatic stress disorder from entering fast cars. And I hate speed bumps, for example. It gives me massive PTSD. So since that crash, my love for driving, which I've not done, but my love for potentially driving, completely diminished. And I don't know, I just faded away from wanting to buy these sports cars. And now I'm looking into potentially getting a Maybach, what was it called? The S650. So this is what I'm looking into buying, because now I may have to do an hourly commute from another city in the UAE. So this is how it looks. But yeah, let's see. This is just because it's kind of a necessity if I have to do the commute. But sports cars for now, too much maintenance costs, too much headaches, not the safest, bumpy. So I don't know. After my crash, I just didn't really want to get a sports car. So for now, I think we're going to remain in Bitcoin, and maybe in summer I end up buying a Maybach. But let's see. Not because I want to, it's because it's very comfortable, and in Dubai it's relatively well priced, and I may get that for commuting. I'm not a fan of the M4. Not a fan of the M4. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to start with the Ferrari. It's not the most reliable. Creates a lot of problems. Okay, so back to Bitcoin. We're trading at 104. So nothing super new. Let me do a breaking news. We got very sidetracked there, so I'm going to do a quick breaking news run to see what's up with the prices. Oh, Sailor posted. Oh, he reposted a interview. Yeah, nothing super new. Okay, we have some breaking news on stablecoins, because today, remember, is the day where stablecoin legislation is passing. Give me a second, guys. I just need to check one thing. Give me a second while I do that, please. Yeah, sorry guys, I had to check a message urgently, and also the volume. But okay, so volume is good, audio is good, everything is fine. So Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says crypto stablecoins can lower government borrowing costs and reduce national debt. It's not going to reduce national debt, it's going to increase it exponentially, which for our case, it's fine. We would like that anyways for Bitcoin's price action. But what else do we have here? A thriving stablecoin ecosystem will drive demand for the private sector for US treasuries, correct, which they need people to buy US treasuries ASAP. Yeah, so look, Genius Act is most likely going to get passed. Stablecoins will be widely adopted, and it will be another tool to create more M2 money supply. Yeah, Bitcoin back to 103.8. Yeah, I just really don't want this to be a green candle just to say it's a green candle, and then we continue dumping. That wouldn't be good. Yeah, I know. So in Turkey, we have the same issue. So in Turkey, if you want to buy a car, what you have is something called engine tax. So the more the more horsepower the more horsepower a car has, the more tax that is applied to the car. And because that is the case, you end up seeing all of the most terrible spec'd cars come into Turkey. And on top of this, you know, the taxation compounds so much. If you're buying a Ferrari, you're like taxed like 150% or something ridiculous like this. And then there's a luxury goods tax and so much taxation, you end up paying like 5 times the amount that you should be paying. That's why the only expensive cars you see in, you know, relatively to the Middle East, you see in Turkey is like Mercedes and BMWs. That's what billionaires drive. There is no, very rarely there's an old Ferrari. There's nothing new So yeah, in some countries, it's just super expensive to buy cars. In Dubai, it's pretty cheap. Thanks, Steph. Thank you. I don't think it's about, so yeah, just don't get confused with the 50 SMA. I think 101.6 is the most likely level for Bitcoin to come to at this point. And if you're asking, guys, why don't you short Bitcoin if you are so convinced of a dump? Well, I don't short Bitcoin simply because the upside risk is so high for Bitcoin that if you get trapped in a short, then you lose money. Even if it's a hedge, like I just don't see, I personally don't see the value in a short. Like it would have been an obvious short to open one here. But look, I don't like to short Bitcoin because there's so much upside potential risk, infinite upside potential risk. You're in a bull market. And I would rather buy Bitcoin cheap than short. So I don't do short positions. So yeah, CME gap is at 91.960. So we can double check that if it's, it's still there. Is it relevant is the question you're asking. Well, it's been so long and we've had so many more CME gaps since then. I think that specific CME gap has lost its significance. So it's right here. Doesn't mean we're not going to come back down to it. Could be the case. But I just think it's lost. It's not lost significance. Like I think it will close eventually. But it could be it could be in the bear market. Like it is feasible to expect a Bitcoin at $91,900 during the bear market. It wouldn't be an unrealistic expectation. But I'm not considering it until or unless Bitcoin falls below this line. So just know that if Bitcoin does end up falling below 101.6 to 101.4 to 100.5, the range between essentially 100 to, let's say, 101.6, if we do fall below this level, then yes. Yeah, then yes. But I'm not talking about it in my videos because we're not there yet. As soon as we come down to this level, it will be an option that I will mention and highlight. But so far, that's not where we are. And I don't find it necessary to talk about yet. Okay, I'm going to do a breaking news run. I'm not sure for how much longer I'll continue with this stream, but we'll go on until however much we can. Okay, there's a strike on Tehran. Looks like a very ugly strike, unfortunately. We have the VIX up to 20.92, so fear is increasing. We can check VIX. Not a major increase, but considerable increase to the upside on fear. But apart from that, nothing new. Yeah, apart from that, nothing new. Thank you for 150 likes, guys. You are fantastic. It's kind of crazy because we're almost at the same amount of likes as the Moon Show. I think we can call it a day in like 60 seconds time. Just to cover everything again. So look, what am I looking at right now? Number one, I'm looking at support at where we are currently. So I posted it over on Twitter. You can see support right now is strong. Okay. So this right now, if you want to DCA, good time to DCA. If this falls, if we lose this support, the next line to buy is 101.650. If 101.650 is lost, then you can expect the filling of the CME gap. How likely is that right now? It is on the unlikely, it's on the scale of unlikely. Okay, because we still have the bullish pennants, we still have Wyckoff reaccumulation, we still have M2 money supply going up, right? So all of those things considered, this here, Bitcoin to 91.9, still unlikely. When will it be likely? If we break below 100.4 to 100K, worst case scenario, right? Because you do have liquidity there. We can go ahead and grab that liquidity, but there's just so much demand that I see it tough for us to fall below that level. So the only time I will entertain such option is if Bitcoin starts breaking below this neckline. Until or if then, we won't mention it, apart from this stream. But apart from this, I think that's all. If we look at Bitcoin's reaction to increasing geopolitical tensions, you can see that while Bitcoin is still treated as a risk-on asset by fast money traders, its medium to long-term trajectory is increasingly shaped by large allocators who see its emergence as a non-sovereign, neutral bearer asset like digital gold. So in short term, so this explains a lot, right? What I mean, or what he means by this, is that whenever we get the news of geopolitical tensions increasing, or there is some sort of uncertainty in the market, like the Trump and Elon situation, or the moment of Israel-Iran being a thing, and then, Ukraine, Russia. Whenever these things emerge, because Bitcoin is trading 24/7, highly liquid, fear by fast money is projected immediately onto the price action. But when you go and zoom out 48 hours from that event, or you go to the week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks after that event, you can see that Bitcoin gets treated as digital gold as opposed to a risk-on asset like fast money. So important takeaway, fast money, which is scared money and is usually unintelligent money, they treat Bitcoin as a risk-on asset, which we don't want. But good news, the large allocators, the institutions, the corporations, they see Bitcoin as a digital gold, which is what they should see it as. So that is good news. Very, very good news. Yeah, Queen, I think I'm going to call it a day now. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Wow, we did 42 minutes here on the Cryptic channel. We did 46 minutes over on the Moonshow channel, and we posted 2 videos. Yeah, it's been a rough day, and I'm still in pain. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If there is any other development, I'll probably be AFK until tomorrow morning. But you guys know the targets. We have our positions set. We've de-risked, so everything is covered for. It's insane that Bitcoin has had such a vigorous drop and continuous drop on the 1 hourly time frame. It sucks, but we're at support. So let's see how the next upcoming few hours and days unfold. Hopefully, we don't see a further escalation, because if we do see a further escalation, not good for Bitcoin. I'm going to do a final breaking news check. Okay, so this is, I saw some Ethereum comments. So Ethereum, if you didn't watch the Moon Show, this is what I did with my Ethereum trade. So if we go to Ethereum, I think I spoke about it last, I'm not sure. I think, yeah, this is where we got into it. So Ethereum, what I did was I put a stop loss for my most recent position. So most of my positions have been opened at 1.5 and 1.6, but there is a recent Ethereum position which I entered that was at 2.3. So what I did with that trade is, if I can find it, there we go. What I did with that trade was I put a stop loss at 2,365. This is for just one of my positions. The reason why I did this is because if we fall below, in the event that we fall below 2,365, which I ultimately don't think will happen, but if we do, then as a trader, I want to prepare myself and take a stop loss. And that stop loss, and we will still be profitable overall, by the way, but that stop loss will occur because if we do fall below 2,365, it will be likely that, unfortunately, Ethereum would solidify a Bart Simpson pattern, which could take us back into the range of 1.8 to 1.9, and that will be a fantastic point to buy the dip. So yeah, that is some quick takes on Ethereum to anybody wondering. Okay, some more breaking news. Not the prettiest. Oh my god. Yeah, not good stuff. Guys, let's just hope that everything will be fine. That's all. That's what I'm gonna end it off with. And Bitcoin and crypto, these are irrelevant when you think of it. What's important is world peace. What's important is lives being not lost, and Bitcoin comes very low on that list. But yeah, wishing for peace, wishing for safety. My prayers are with you if you are impacted directly or indirectly by this situation. And with that said, have a good night. And I'll see you all on the next show and the next video very soon. Take care, guys. And as always, bye bye.